I'm Pam. I'm a mother of 3 children, and my youngest son Wesley lives in residential care. He's living with 3 other people, and he relies on staff 24 hours a day to care for him. He's non-verbal. I rely on other people to communicate with me because he's not able to do that. I heavily rely on that because if anything happens, he can't tell me. Quite often when I go and visit him, I look at his hands, I look at him and I think, I can see if he's stressed because, you know, I remember when he used to be stressed, he'd be biting his hands and you could see there was the biting marks on his hands and you think he's really stressed. But when you see him, sometimes you can see that he's calm, his skin's good, he's smiling, he's happy, and that makes you feel good. But you really rely on staff to be able to communicate with you how his day's been. And I think quite often things get missed and people forget to tell you things, and then all of a sudden you discover things have happened and you think, I should have been told at the get-go rather than now. And sometimes, it's really important that people communicate with you because they are his voice. I was phoned by management and told that he was hit over the head. And I thought, what does that mean? You know, does that mean he was tapped, he was hit with something, or what does it mean? And I asked a few questions and they were inquiring about it with something that had been reported to them. So it was just the whole situation of finding about actually what happened. And I couldn't even ask who it was. The question I asked was it someone that was known to Wes really well? So I'm thinking why I'm asking that, is that someone that's worked with him a lot, or is it someone that's just got to know him? You know, and my reason for asking that, if it's someone that knows him really well, they should know better. If it's someone that's just getting to know him, they need training. You know, so, you know, they're the things you're sort of weighing up in your mind. And that lack of communication, and then when you're told, you can't really get told the outcome. They say they're going to ring you back, but they don't. And so you ring and you find out, and you wonder if that person's been stood down, and it's really hard because yourself, on one hand, you don't want someone to lose their job, but then you're thinking if they're not the right person, maybe they're not working in the right area, maybe they shouldn't be doing what they're doing. And you rely on people out there to understand that and get it right and not have the wrong people working there. So a lot of trust is involved. I think sometimes you accept things the way they are rather than question things all the time. Sometimes you think that if you question things all the time, that could have an impact on people accepting Wesley as he is and looking after him the way you want them to look after him. You are very dependent on other people getting it right. Yeah, I think it is really important to know the rules and know what's right and what's wrong and make sure that things are done the right way, because I think that the residents are completely dependent on the staff getting it right, and if they don't, it has an impact on them all. Makes it really difficult, and it makes it hard when Wes doesn't have a voice because he can't tell you, and you're reliant on staff to communicate with you if they have any issues. And quite often, you know, things get overlooked and you don't know. You find out the hard way. And when you work in the field and you're also a parent, it's amazing the skills you bring with you automatically, because you know what it's like from a parent's point of view. But it also taught me what it's like to be from a worker's point of view as well, because you can see things from another perspective. And I remember I was coordinator of interurban interchange, and that involved me being involved with parents, and I'd organised a family camp. These parents were just chaotic. They were so hard to deal with, and it really gave me an appreciation of what it was like from the other side, because I was so used to being one of those parents. Yeah. Sometimes you see things that aren't right, and so it's trusting your colleagues and trusting who you can go to ask the right questions and just say, look, this has happened. I don't know if I'm overreacting or underreacting. I don't know if it's an incident or not an incident, and I need to have it clarified. And I think sometimes there's a bit of confusion, because sometimes people overkill and they make an issue out of not a lot, and sometimes things get missed that should be picked up and dealt with. So it's a matter of trust in the system, knowing who you can go to talk about it at least, or be listened to, so that you can follow it through and understand the processes of what you've got to do in order to get the outcome, the right outcome for the person.